Hello, everyone. This is the Movie Night Society here, and we're talking about another movie. We're talking about From Paris with Love. Uh, Dustin, this was your pick. I'm curious, like how what did you like? We're just jumping in. What did you like? Where did you hear about this movie, or like how did you see it the first time?
Uh, if I remember correctly, which I don't, I think I it I don't remember the context. I do remember generally how I found it, and it was on some platform that I could buy movies on. It was forever ago. It was like when it came out. I remember seeing the previews, but I never saw it. And then I saw that John Travolta was in it. Uh, so I just bought it. It was on YouTube Movies or Apple Movies, or it's called Apple TV now. But I don't know. I watched it on there, and now I've seen it like a couple dozen times at this point.
All right. Yeah, I just like jumped in the intro. I'm really bad at doing these intros. I never know how to start it out. Uh, so we're talking about From Paris with Love. This is a 2010 movie, I believe, right? Starring John Travolta and I think it was Jonathan Rhys Meyers, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I got it right. Jonathan
Well, we
Rhys
should
Meyers.
mention too, by the way, that this is obviously not the movie we said we'd be looking at.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, at the end of the last episode,
Dustin done messed up.
yeah, Dustin recommended Kings of Summer, uh, which he said was on Hulu, and it's like technically on Hulu, but it's through like a Showtime subscription, which none of us have. So we had to pick a new movie on the spot, and Dustin chose From Paris with Love. Um, and yeah, this is basically like a buddy action movie, basically. But it's not that for the first like 15 minutes of the movie. Uh, but yeah, so like this movie is a French movie, but it's all like English speaking actors. It's like it's a French movie, but you wouldn't like really know on the surface. It was produced, I think, by Luc Besson. I'm sorry, the story was written by Luc Besson, who you might know for like directing The Fifth Element and The Professional and like what was that movie like Lucy? Uh, he's done lots of movies in the past.
Excuse me, what was that tone when you said Lucy? What was that
What's
tone you used?
what's with the
Oh,
aggression?
it's
What's
because
the
Lucy.
negative connotation you just put on the movie Lucy as if it's not fucking awesome?
It's because it's not fucking awesome and it's kind of a gigantic mess. Uh,
You're
but we
telling
could
me that I can't use 100% of my brain?
I you can do whatever you want, Dustin.
With enough shrooms, anything is possible.
So yeah, like Luc Besson directed the terrible movie Lucy, directed the terrible movie Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Uh, he
That was terrible.
directed that was pretty bad. Yeah,
I didn't finish it.
Lucy was okay, if I'm being honest. It was like okay. Um, all I remember is like the Damon Albarn song at the end. I like that song, but that's it. But yeah, he's most famous for like Leon the Professional and The Fifth Element and La Femme Nikita, which I haven't seen. But yeah, so the story was written by him, and then the screenplay. I don't know who this is. Adi Pasak. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, from looking at his Wikipedia page, I don't know what he's done except for this movie. But the director of this movie, I did not notice. He's directed like a few movies. He directed a French movie called District 13, which
Love that.
I've heard is a pretty good action movie.
Love it.
And he's also directed like Taken and a few other action movies after this. So this is honestly the first movie I've ever seen. I haven't seen Taken. I haven't seen District 13. Um, so I kind of went into this like not really knowing what it was going to be like. From what I gathered in my mind just from the poster, I really thought this was going to be like one of those like new Bruce Willis movies where he just like sits in a chair the whole time. And I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Um, Will, I don't know what did you think? It's I think Dustin, you've seen this movie before,
Oh, so many
um,
times.
and it's Will and I's first time seeing it. So like, Will, what were your like, what are your first impressions, or like what did you think going in?
Okay. I will say this to Dustin because I was with Julian earlier today, and I was like, okay, I know we're going to talk about this movie, but I just got to say, before John Travolta shows up, I was bored, like
Yeah,
already. I was like,
He makes the movie.
He
He
really
makes the whole
does.
thing.
Everything else before that's like, I don't care. I don't care. Oh gosh, when is it? I saw John Travolta's name in the opening credits. And like, where is he? I need him to show up because I'm not digging the main character, the girlfriend, the relationship, whatever. I don't like nothing's really popping out to me. Nothing's really hooking me into the movie yet. And then John Travolta's character shows up.
It's the best.
And Julian agreed with me when I said this. It's like, I think Dustin likes this movie because John Travolta is Dustin if he was in a movie. Am I wrong?
Dude.
yeah, yes. I thought that like
I just
almost
want my
immediately.
fucking cans, man. Like-
Yeah, I was like, this is Dustin. If he was,
I'm glad both of us agreed to that.
yeah, if he was like in an action movie,
Dude, I like every little quip he has is shit that I've almost said in my life. Like at one point. Like,
I can believe that.
Like I love it.
Yeah, immediately when he shows up, the movie just is a lot more fun. He just steals like every scene he's in. He just is there, like doing his job, and he just does it like how he wants to do it. And like no one can really follow what's going on. Like I remember like the first action scene just starts. It's like what's going on? What is this? I'm there's just nothing was going on before. Now everything's going on. Oh, slow down now. So
yeah, I have to agree. We'll kind of get into the plot. We're gonna do it a little differently this time. I figured, like I usually come up with like a plot summary and like we kind of go beat by beat, but I think it'd be kind of fun to try out if we just go through it together, and like try to remember what happened together. Uh, but yeah, before we like get into the plot, like I want to say I generally liked this movie, but it definitely did. That first 15-minute chunk, if you shortened it to like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes instead of like 15 minutes, like it would be a lot stronger. So like what does happen at the beginning? Um, we're kind of like set up with this guy. I forgot the characters' names, but Jonathan Rhys Meyers' character is like an assistant to the ambassador of the United States in France, and he he like does kind of menial stuff for him, like setting up meetings and stuff, and like he plays chess with the ambassador, but he's like really doing like all this other like kind of secret agent shit on the side, I guess. I have to say, like the beginning was a little bit hard to follow what was going on. I don't know about you guys. Like
I still
it was,
don't know after seeing it this many times if
yeah,
that was like he had just some separate boss that was making him do shit, or he was like part of the CIA first, and then his job was to be with the ambassador, but
yeah. I was
only to do
confused
other
on
shit.
like,
I had to read on the Wikipedia page that I guess his main job was being the aide to the ambassador, and then like the side job was like a low level CIA agent.
yeah, it was like kind of hard to follow because he like keeps getting phone calls from his boss or whatever, And like I kept thinking to myself, is that the ambassador calling him, or is that someone else? Like
Never find out.
we never see this guy
This
that he's
random
talking
CIA
to.
guy.
So it's a little bit sloppy and a little confusing at first. So yeah, he's like doing these pretty, these like secret agent tasks along with his like main job, which is like being uh, the assistant to the ambassador, and he has a girlfriend. I don't remember her name either. I don't remember any of the characters' names.
I never
I don't
do.
know. I don't know who she's played by. Kasia Smutniak. I'm probably like butchering these names, but yeah, she plays the character Caroline, who is his girlfriend and then fiance, because she basically proposes to him because she's like, if I didn't do it, then you never would, because he's so like focused on his job. Is there any like important information here about the
No,
girlfriend? Uh,
nothing.
Not at this point. No.
we're gonna spoil the movie, but uh, yeah, we'll spoil it right now if it's not kind of obvious that the girlfriend is going to like, she basically is like the person that they're trying to find later on. Uh, and it like turns out that she's like a terrorist. Yeah, for me it was a little obvious. I don't know. Will and I kind of talked about the movie a little bit before.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not the only one that suspected her, right?
Yeah, it was a little obvious because they kept like interjecting her into things, and she kept like popping up here and there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I thought her character was okay. Like her performance was fine. Uh, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the girlfriend character or the main guy? Like what do you guys think about uh
Me-
the main guy? I don't know his name. The Jonathan Rhys Meyers character.
He was all right.
Yeah, he was all right.
I liked his like the back and forth between him and John Travolta.
That's the
He
best
just
part.
he
Yeah.
just kind of plays the straight man for the most part.
Real quick on that, my favorite between them is the first time the main, I'm just gonna call him nerdy CIA guy. The first time he like gets attitude and they're in the apartment and then John Travolta is he's like pretending to be with a whore and he's like, haven't you learned anything? And then he kicks down a door and it was just a distraction or whatever. And then the dude's phone dies and he like points a gun at some guy. He's like, give me your damn phone charger. And then John Travolta's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, what does it fucking look like I'm doing? I'm charging my fucking cell. And he like out of all the shit that he could have lost it at, like that was it. It was like the fucking phone. Like,
well, that is
I
like the
love it
part
so-
where like his girlfriend sees him in like the elevator, and he's like he wants to tell her what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of jumping ahead there.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking about the plot. That was just that one scene. That was
Yeah,
funny.
that's the thing with this movie. It kind of feels like less of a plot and more of like an excuse for interesting scenes to happen,
I'm a fan.
or not interesting scenes. There's a few scenes like later on that were kind of like whatever, but um yeah, mostly in the beginning, the first like 15 minutes was just like, I was like, man, this is like really just kind of standard. It's not like really doing anything special to me. Like, and then the Jonathan Rhys Meyers character. I'm just gonna look up this character's name. James Reese. Oh yeah, I remember that because like is that how you spell like Rhys? Is that how you pronounce it? Like you say
Yeah.
Reese, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I would say Rise, but I don't
Okay.
know how you're supposed to say it.
I think it's Reese.
I think it is Reese because there's an actor, Jonathan Rhys Davies. I think I think it's spelled the same way. but it's funny that the character's name is Reese as well. So yeah, his character Reese finally gets like a job in his like CIA kind of part-time job or whatever, of like teaming up with this guy. He has to like pick up this guy who's been uh taken by customs, and he's like, this is your new partner. And it's a very like classic setup of like, yeah, straight guy, like straight-laced dude with like a real just like agent of chaos. And yeah, once this John Travolta character like is in the movie, this movie was like really entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's like
It
I
was
said before. He stole like every scene he was in for sure.
it was like a different movie all of a sudden. It was like so strange. Like as soon as he as soon as he pops up, there's like suddenly a lot of energy in the movie, and it becomes like so much more like fast paced. So he picks him up at customs, and like is the whole reason that customs picked him up is because he had these like soda
Energy
cans or
drink.
something.
Energy drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Some
went
of
like
them are
they
good.
went let him take the energy drinks, which we find out are not energy drinks. So they have his pieces of his gun in them.
Yeah, he like do you remember in Jurassic Park where he's got that shaving can, like the shaving cream can that has like this little like vials that they're like taking the dinosaur DNA in. It reminded me of that. Like, yeah, this like secret compartment in this like ordinary item. Uh yeah, I thought that was like fun. Yeah, he like pulls out like each individual piece of the gun from like these different cans. Uh yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think about this scene? Like it's the first time that we see this character.
Well, I was definitely more invested at that point. I was like, okay, something's happening. John Travolta is completely stealing the scene. It's fun. It's like Julian said, it's got a lot more energy all of a sudden, and it made me more interested in like watching the rest of the movie. Like, okay, now I'm a bit more invested. A much more interesting character has shown up, and he just like starts off at a 10, and I was interested to see where it was going to go from there once he popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could care fucking less about the whole ambassador storyline. That shit is fucking ass. But
Yeah.
John Travolta's character, hilarious. Like every time he's not on screen, I wish he was on screen saying some shit or doing something. And then like, yeah, him and then just his interaction with any other character is like the funniest shit ever. And if it's not funny, it's like really serious. And he's kind of there's a few cheesy parts, but like overall, I don't expect John Travolta to like hold a very serious scene, and he does it a few times. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, so I love it. I thought he was amazing. And also, as a side note, I believe today, fun fact, John Travolta got his 737 license. Just want to throw that out there real quick. Today, saw his Instagram post. Super wholesome.
Huh. Cool.
He's a fucking pilot. Yeah, nothing to do with the movie, but I had to throw that out there because it's awesome.
Well, maybe he can fly a plane in the sequel, if it ever happens. Because there was set up for a sequel, or
I
like
don't think
there was talks about a sequel.
I don't think it did well at the box office though, right?
Did it not? I didn't really look into it. I feel like I didn't look up any like critical reaction other than just like IMDb. So
When I checked Wikipedia, I think it like barely made back its budget. So
I'm
that's
not surprised.
Not counting all the marketing, I'm sure, which I have no idea how much marketing they did for the movie. But
Well, I saw like some. I was watching like I also it's in my favorites, but I was watching the funniest scenes like compilation on YouTube, and the first comment, which I kind of agree with, was like it said, "I've never seen a movie that deserved a sequel so much because it could have been so much better if it just like succeeded the first time around and it had it." Then I feel like a second one could have been a lot better. Like the corniness wouldn't be there. The random fucking boring scenes that no one gives a shit about wouldn't be there. Like that kind
yeah,
of thing.
I have to say, after the movie ended, I was kind of like, damn, I would watch a sequel to this movie. Like I liked the characters enough, or at least their relationship to each other, and like I liked the humor in this movie, and there was like a lot of like absurd like action scenes in this movie that I thought were really fun. Uh, but it was definitely like yeah, just this movie I think needed a little bit more, I don't know, tightening on the script or pacing or something. Because yeah, I do think there's boring parts, like even apart from the first like 15 minutes. Um, but yeah, so like what point in the movie are we at? We're like, yeah, we're right at the point where they like meet for the first time, and John Travolta is like, let's have dinner or whatever, right? And they
Chinese
go
baby.
into a yeah, they go into a Chinese restaurant. I want to say, like, I think this movie wouldn't fly today because every like every character who dies in this movie or is like a villain or criminal is a minority. It's like it's the Chinese first, and then there were like Asian guys in the alley, and then
By the
uh
way, it also that alley part right after the restaurant. I guess it's the same type of scene, but that joke I don't think would be written the same way either. Where it's like also my second favorite part of the movie, where he's like, "Man, this ain't no fucking Los Angeles gang. It's just a bunch of Asian dudes." Like, like the way he said it, and like these dudes are just like walking up on him. It's like, all right, like today it would be worded a little, it'd be written differently. Maybe not worded, I don't know, but it's really
yeah,
funny. Yeah.
yeah. I just noticed that because yeah, it's like such this movie is about 10 years old, so that kind of stuck out to me. But I don't know, I guess it's just a product of the time, I guess. um but yeah, they go into this restaurant, and oh man, what happens? They like uh how did I forget how they like reveal that these people are like
I don't know. This part like really confused me. It just seemed like they were going to have dinner, and then all of a sudden they're shooting the ceiling, and cocaine comes
Well,
out.
that was the point, though. It
I,
was meant
I
to be off guard because it kind of put you in the shoes the whole time of the fucking nerdy guy. And of
yeah,
course, it was unexpected to him because this dude's fucking wild. So it's kind of like
yeah.
it's unexpected to us.
I just don't know. Like, by the time he started shooting the ceiling and cocaine came out, I was like, how did we get here again? How did it
I mean,
escalate
yeah,
to this?
this
I
movie
don't agree,
just
man.
goes to like 11 so quickly.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's
I know.
supposed to be that way.
I think it was great. Like I first 15 minutes, if I stopped there and then you told me later on that like, okay, they shoot cocaine out of the ceiling and they're like running around with a vase full of cocaine for like a third of the movie, and then like they like throw a bomb like out a window onto a car and it explodes, like that kind of shit. It was like so funny to me. Like I don't know, I got a kick out of all of the action stuff in this movie, and the absurdity of it. Like if it leaned into that absurdity and like just like the kind of over the top comedy a bit more, this movie would have like I would have like loved it. I think it was a little bit, I felt like it didn't quite know what it wanted to be at times. Like especially once the girlfriend stuff comes in later, but we'll get to that. So yeah, they like I guess like John Travolta knows that this like that the people in this restaurant are like part of a gang or something. So he like kills a bunch of these people, and then yeah, he what is he like tells he like asks one of the dudes like where's the cocaine, and then shoots the ceiling, and then like lots of cocaine comes out of the ceiling through the bullet holes. Great, just odd visual to me.
Yeah, it's just
And
raining
then
cocaine at the end too. It's like a fucking wallpaper for some reason.
John Travolta tells Reese to grab a vase to like grab some of the cocaine for later, just kind of unexplained at that point what he's going to do with it. Uh, yeah, and then what happens after? I think this is the part where like they beat up the guys in the alley. Uh, yeah, I thought that action scene was pretty fun, just like the fight scene. Um, yeah, and then what happens after that? Uh,
He presses on the brakes too hard, and the cocaine explodes all over the fucking car.
again, love that. That was hilarious to me. Uh, and then I think do they this is the part where they go into the building to
The apartment
find
with the gangsters in it.
yeah, and then like the prostitute, and this is like where they see Reese's girlfriend walking in the building as well, and she sees them, and she's like, what the hell's going on?" Uh, and John Travolta right away is like, like I don't think she's like that sweet of a girl. She's like in a place like this, and Reese kind of plays it off like, oh no, it's she like works with fabrics and stuff. Like it's fine. Uh, and then yeah, they like fight their way into this place. Kind of. What did they do here? I'm trying to
Well,
remember.
they go upstairs to that dude's like room or apartment building or whatever. Remember, and he like climbs out the window, I think, right?
Oh man, did he?
And then he's like, "Whoa, this is some good shit. Where do I get some of this?" He's like, "You can't. It's homegrown." And then he like goes up into the next floor
Yeah.
or something.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. So then after that, again, this is like a very the plot is kind of vague at this point. It's sort of like they're just doing things that John Travolta says they need to do.
True.
Uh, and they go to this like apartment complex with uh and they're like kind of confronted by these gangsters like in the lobby, and they like this is like finally where like the vase of cocaine comes in because they drop it because they're like, well, if these people are caught with you know with cocaine, they're gonna get tons of jail time. So they like drop the cocaine and then they all scatter. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this next whole apartment complex like building sort of
I,
shootout?
I thought the bomb part was cool that you mentioned before. Where he's like, what, 10 seconds for them to get to the lobby, 4 seconds across the hall, or like 4 seconds for it to fall. And then he drops their own vest on their fucking car outside, and then yeah, and then his SUV was fucking had a bomb in it.
Yeah, uh, those parts were really funny. Uh, I loved the part. I think this is where John Travolta like goes like head first down a pole,
Yeah,
almost like a fireman's pole, and slides down it, and is like shooting people while he's upside down, sliding down this pole. It was just so like ridiculous, but like I've never seen that before in an action movie, and it was like really memorable to me. Uh, and then yeah, the throwing down the bomb. I feel like I've seen scenes like that before, but it was like I thought that was just like perfect. That was like
yeah.
so funny.
I like when they were driving away from all that. Not to move on, Will, because I know you're about to say something. But yeah, when they were driving away from all that, and he's like, it'll only take a second, and he's like faster than this, and he just backs into the cars, makes a domino effect, and a fucking nuke goes off under his SUV because it was like, was it booby trapped? Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Will, any thoughts?
I was just about to say, wasn't there a scene like right before they actually get to the room where, and I don't remember if this was the same scene where he like hangs on a pole and like shoots the people, but there was like he went up to one of the higher floors, and like Reese's character is like keeps trying to go up the stairs, but like a body falls and he stops and like tries to
Yeah,
keep going. A body falls. Like, okay, now I'm going, and then like a body falls again. I thought that was pretty funny.
I forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah. This movie is filled with like little like clever or like just funny bits like that that really played well in my opinion. Uh, so yeah, after this, what happened? Like they kind of find out information about.
Well, they go to the dinner. It's the next big part is they go to dinner and they find out the girlfriend is
at
because
the
she used
at their
the code word.
apartment. Is
Yeah,
that really what happens next?
that's like the next big thing. Because you remember when they get there, right when they get in, they're like, "So what'd you do today, honey?" And he makes the joke. He's like, "No, literally, we killed like a whole cell of Pakistani terrorists. Tell him." And he was just like, "Oh yeah, fucking shit." Like he was like telling the truth, and they explain what they did earlier.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. Well, before they go to the dinner, this is important to mention. They they kind of like accomplished the mission, I guess, sort of. And uh, John Travolta is like talking to these two like other agents, and they give him a bag, and he's
Oh
like
yeah,
what's in this bag is like what's eventually like what's gonna kill me, you know, like what's eventually gonna be the end of me. And Reese is like, oh, like really? I thought you were like unstoppable. Uh, and then he like pulls out a fucking cheeseburger and he calls it a Royale with cheese,
yeah,
which is
dude.
of course a Pulp
He
Fiction
made the
reference.
reference. I love
So
it.
blatantly. I was like kind of shocked, but I like really laughed at it because like the situation was perfect. Like, okay, they're in France. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And this was like a thing where I liked the I kind of started to like the like the bond or like the relationship between these two, and I was like, man, they're like a pretty fun buddy like cop duo. I know they're not cops, but you know what I mean. Uh, and then yeah, he gets like a call from his Reese gets a call from his girlfriend, and she invites them to dinner. Uh, my cat is standing on my PS4. Ash, get down. Um, and then yeah, this is basically the girlfriend has her friend over, and what happens? They're like all like getting
Okay,
along
I
really
got this.
well.
Yeah. So he invites him over for like the dinner party thing. They're in the main dude's apartment, and it's him and his girlfriend. It's John Travolta, and then it's his girlfriend's like best friend or whatever. So the two girls and the two main guys, and then they're having like for hours. It's just like a dinner party. So they're all drinking and whatever, and it's like super chill. And then out of nowhere, like an insane, just out of the fucking blue, it was another one of those moments that just went to 11 out of nowhere because they've been drinking, it kind of does like that little time lapse of them like having a good time. And then they're all kind of like at the end of the night finally, and they're just kind of all sitting back. They already ate dessert. They're just kind of sipping on wine, ready to end the night. Someone tells a joke, and then his girlfriend's friend, her phone rings. So she picks up her phone and she's like, who? Oh, there's no Rose here. Wrong, whatever. And she hangs up and she looks up. She goes, oh, wrong number. And then just John Travolta's character goes from like, yeah, to just dead ass serious, 0 to 100 real fucking quick. And he just fucking goes, that's the call we've been waiting for. And just fucking boom, just blows her fucking head off out of fucking nowhere. Like she just fucking dies. It goes from laughing at a joke to just shooting somebody up close in the fucking head. Like, and it shows it. It's absolutely insane. And then that's kind of when John Travolta starts, explaining like, oh, that was the code word. Rose was a code word. We've been waiting for it. She said it. That means her girlfriend's a part of this too. And I'm sure he even got tipped off more when they saw her in the same building as all the terrorists. That probably at that point he probably knew for sure anyways. So then he's like, man, how do you know she loves you so much when she's got you living in a house that's bugged? And he starts going around the house and he's like looking through the lamps and like moving books to find like a little bug device, little radio thing, and
Yeah. Okay, this is another part where I feel like I liked this scene, but I thought the comedy could have been played up or something, or like if this movie knew how funny it was at times, like, and it leaned more into that. Like once he's like explaining like all this stuff, like she was there she wasn't buying fabrics, she was doing terrorist shit, and like and she's got your place fucking bugged, man. It would have been really funny if like he just said something that like wouldn't be, no one would be able to figure out. It would just be like completely ridiculous. And then like he just like proved it immediately somehow. And he
yeah.
like kind of does that, but the things he proved were more like, oh, yeah, I see that. Like when he pulls out the what was it? He like pulls out something in like I think the cell phone maybe,
Are you
and
talking about
he's
the
like,
lamp? It's in a lamp.
yeah,
It
I
was
think it
the
was the
bug,
lamp,
it was
but
the audio device.
yeah, and he's like, if I put it next to the stereo,
No, that was the
it'll
ring.
like the ring. That was it. Yeah, he's like, if like, if I'm right, the stereo like will like pick up some static from it and will like give feedback, and then like he puts it by the stereo and it does it. Uh, Again, if it was like a more funny, if it was like a comedy or something like an action, straight up action comedy, they could have played this up more, and it would have been like really funny. Because this is where the movie starts to get a little bit more back into not as enjoyable. Because I don't know, it's like the movie was faring better for me without a plot and just like going kind of like, here, this is where we got to go next, whatever. It's just an excuse for like fun action. But now it's got like a plot and there's like things happening like that are a bit too like specific. I don't know, that's weird to
Because
say, but
because it goes back into the plot that the first 15 minutes started, which nobody likes
yeah,
anyways. And then you're just like, fucking this again. Where's John Travolta? Like, say something funny. Like, poke at him. Like, say something. Say something, John. Like, that was my mind the whole time.
yeah, it felt, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Will, did you feel this way? Like what were you thinking here? Because
Yeah, I definitely was waning interest at this point. It's like, I don't like it as much when it's focused on more like the CIA stuff. That's not the movie's strong point. So I was
yeah,
like, I started kind of dipping out a little bit at that point.
The
yeah, and
only the only strong serious scenes in this movie were when John Travolta was acting serious. It literally revolves around him, good or bad.
it really does. Like most of these like action movies that like have these like kind of, I mean, I don't know how old John Travolta was, but he wasn't like young at this point. Uh it's like a lot of these action movies with these like kind of aged stars or like veteran actors. I don't know. They usually feel like they just have the actor there and they don't like really show off their talent.
He
Like
was
I would say that this movie shows off John Travolta's talent as an
he
actor.
was he was 56 in this movie.
Wow, that's
56.
yeah. I like definitely uh noticed it in the chase scene on the rooftop that happens after this scene. There's a lot of parts where you can tell it's a stunt double.
Yeah, dude.
But honestly, I was kind of enjoying that. Like I enjoy seeing kind of behind the curtain in movies, and I like, seeing these little glimpses of that like kind of like remind you it's a movie. If it's like, it kind of depends, but like I was enjoying that too. Um, but it was definitely like, yeah, I don't think John Travolta's doing flips, and he's definitely not going head first down a fireman's pole and
Dude.
shooting at dudes. But
What if the
it was
behind the
fun.
scenes showed him doing it? Like, all right, here we go. And he just
That would be impressive. That would be insane.
That would be pretty awesome.
I think the
Dude.
only person who's like doing that still is like Keanu
Tom
Reeves.
Cruise.
And Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
fair.
Tom Cruise for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be doing that.
Yeah.
Jackie
I
Chan.
think. Does Jackie Chan do his own stunts anymore? I haven't seen
Yeah.
like a recent movie of his.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's always like really impressive when like they do these stunts for real. But even in this, I was just like enjoying the movie so much, like that I forgave it, you know, like even though it was like, yeah, this is clearly not John Travolta running across rooftops and like jumping over buildings and shit, but it was
Like,
fun.
man, John lost some weight on that roof.
Yeah. Okay, and then he doesn't catch her because he's 56, but he like gets the license plate number in the car that she gets in. And then I thought it was kind of strange that these people didn't switch cars, because later on they follow that car and find it, and it's like, well, like they should have switched their fucking car. You know what I mean? Like that's like rule number one for like organized crime.
Yeah.
You know, that was really strange. But yeah, like after this, like John Travolta's kind of doing most of the like, let's go get them, and Reese is kind of like, he's like, oh my fucking god, like this woman I've loved for years is not the person I thought she was. I don't know. I didn't like really care about their relationship. It was like all right. It was like I at least got a sense that they cared about each other, but I don't know. I'm not gonna remember. I didn't remember their fucking names, so you know that tells you something. And then he figures out that she is going to like enter what like parliament or whatever, like some like the summit. I think it's the summit.
Yeah.
Like a gathering of all these like officials, like the ambassador and the some lady. I don't remember who this lady was. I'm gonna look it up.
She was like a senator or something, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking. Who the fuck was she? She was just like some important lady. It didn't like really matter.
An important American. I don't know.
That is a problem with the movie, is like a lot of these things do kind of like feel like Mad Libs, like fill in the gaps, like just throw in some important name in here. It could be like the first lady or some shit. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so basically, yeah, he realizes like, oh, she's gonna like go in dressed up, but she's gonna like have like a bomb vest strapped to her, and she's gonna like suicide bomb this place. And then John Travolta is going after the car because they found the car, but it's obviously like a diversion. And I thought it was really, really funny. Again, I don't think it played into the comedy enough here, but John Travolta has an RPG.
Oh yeah.
they're like, he's like, you got any like firepower in this vehicle? And like the driver dude's like, look in the back.
Yeah.
And there's this like a fucking RPG. It's like the one that he has like on the cover and everything. And they're like chasing this car on the highway or freeway or whatever, and like John Travolta, like in action movies, like, you know, they always like get out the car window and the passenger seat and like fire out the window. He like fucking gets like the rocket, like he's the Joker or something.
Yeah.
And like he's got this fucking RPG, but it's just like so funny that he is basically holding it with both hands while he's like, he looks like he's standing in the car, not just like, you know, leaning out a bit. He's like standing, and it looks like he could fall out at any moment. And then Reese calls him, and he's like on the phone with him while holding this rocket launcher. I thought, like, again, just the level of absurdity to what was happening was so funny, but I don't know if the movie like knew it or not.
I think they did. I think they did
I
at that
want to
point.
believe they did, but like something
I think
about
they
it.
did. Because
John
that's the
Travolta makes
sense
it work.
that I got.
Yeah,
It
John
was just
Travolta
so
makes it work.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it works because it's him.
But Reese is like, she's not in the car. Like she's
Oh, yeah,
she's
he's
at
like,
the,
yeah, she
she's
is.
at
I'm
the
looking at it
summit.
right now.
Yeah, and then it's like one of the mannequins that was in like an earlier scene, which I thought was
Yeah.
a clever callback. But it was like it was really funny when he's like, get me like closer, I need to see who's in the car, and like he like sees the mannequin, he's just like shit. Like, I don't know, it like made me I like busted up laughing. I don't know why, it was so funny to me. Again, it was just like, but like he shoots the car anyway, you know what I mean? Like
Fuck it.
it's not like he was gonna shoot it either way, so like why even like stop to look
I don't know.
other than just to confirm it, I guess. Anyway, but so that car is going to drive into the car that the lady is in, like a lady official, and like just before it hits that car, like John Travolta finally like shoots that fucking rocket and blows up that car. And it was pretty spectacular. Uh, and then Reese goes to the summit building, and he kind of has to like get in by having the ambassador say like, "That's my assistant," whatever, because he's got like a gun. You know,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have a gun in like these summit meetings. Reese is like, there's like a terrorist here, like we got to stop her. Um, it was kind of weird that she was the only one with like a bomb vest, though. You know what I mean? Like again,
What do you
like
mean?
like there wouldn't be more people there to like.
Oh.
I don't know. It kind of struck me as odd, but I could believe it. I mean, they didn't like switch cars either, so whatever. I guess they're like not the most efficient terrorists. I don't know,
True.
but they John Travolta like earlier on is like, like if you see her, you got to kill her, you got to shoot her in the head. Don't like let your emotions get into you and everything. And of course they like have a whole scene where Reese is like pointing the gun at Carolyn, I think is her name, and they're like, you don't have to do this, honey, we can like have a life together, or something along those lines, even though she really can't, like she like
Yeah.
brought a bomb into like the summit, like
You're gone for
she
life.
yeah, she's gone, like at this point it's like I don't know what's the issue here.
I don't even know. And she was also wearing the fabrics that she was holding in the
Yeah,
elevator. Like now
Yeah,
you know
that-
finally why she was like using that as a cover, because she literally was working with fabrics, just in a different capacity than we thought.
yeah, I have to say, even though this like part of the movie wasn't like as spectacular as like just the parts with Reese and John Travolta, just like kind of going, not lone wolf, but just like doing their thing.
Yeah.
I did like that they set up things about Caroline earlier on, that actually did pay off. It didn't feel like totally sloppy.
Yeah. I think I don't have any complaints about that. Like you can tell what they were going for and it worked. Like just like as a little like, oh, that's why she was doing that kind of thing. But I think they were trying to make it a lot more like shocking than it was, because I'm imagining they wanted it to be like some kind of Death Note twist where you're just like, oh fuck, and then in reality you're just like, oh fuck, like and
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I saw that coming.
yeah, it's like, oh, I remember that, instead of like, holy shit, like it just didn't hit that level of fucking, and I think that's where they wanted it to be, but I mean it did its job, so whatever.
Yeah, the same thing with this scene with the standoff between him and Caroline. Is like, I know that this movie really wants me to feel some like heavy emotion here, but I'm not.
You know what it felt like for me? this scene? Have you guys seen the GIF of that truck? It's just a truck. It's like outside on a dirt road or something, and it's like a moving truck. It's got like the box on the back, kind of small, and it's speeding at a pole, and the camera angle just keeps changing, but it never hits the fucking pole. Have you seen that before?
No.
It's famous. You haven't seen that before? Fuck. Well, it's like a trick.
How
So
can it
it's
be
like,
famous if I've never seen it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
or
it's
me,
like
right?
it's from like Top Gear, and it's supposed to show you the
Oh, okay.
safety of a truck hitting a pole and it exploding. But the way the camera angle keeps changing, where it tricks you, so you're watching it, not realizing it's repeating, and there's no payoff. You're just like and that's how I felt about this scene. I was like, but there's no payoff. It was just like, oh, yeah, he did shoot her. I was like, well, whatever. Like, I didn't care about her that much. So
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like I said, just the filmmakers really wanted you to care, but it didn't really back it up. I don't know. I don't know how they could have like
well, dude,
incorporated.
I know exactly how. Because instead of portraying their relationship as Hollywood should do it to make it interesting, which is make it a little bit more over the top, they just showed regular couple shit. And it wasn't fucking interesting. Having dinner, like there was no like I guess, man, you're eating turkey and drinking wine. Congrats. Everybody has literally done that a billion fucking times. It's not that interesting. Again, John Travolta made it interesting.
I don't think the movie, kind of like what Dustin said, did anything to make them like likable as a couple. Really, like you really root for them or anything like that. Just like they're just a normal couple that does normal couple things. Oh yeah, I'm gonna root for these two. You know?
Yeah,
Just like pretty standard stuff. I don't know,
Yeah.
nothing that interesting.
I want to say I have a problem with like movies where there is a couple and performance wise the woman is doing like all the fucking work. Like it's like I don't know, give like the guy some personality or something, you know? It's like
Yeah.
it just kind of felt like she was like really putting a lot into the performance and then you got like I don't know, blank slate dude. I don't know. Cuz like we did Rocky and that's like the opposite, you know? Where like Rocky is like so like
what's on this
full of
couch?
personality.
It's a fine couch. I don't know.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Wait, I love
like,
your
that's a normal
impersonation
line.
of that. Like you just hit the hand.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
And like Adrian like has personality too, it's just being shy. But like you know what I mean, right? Like they I mean it's basically what you said. They just didn't put enough into this relationship to make me really care about them. And it's like weird that like the whole movie kind of that's like the crux of the movie, you know, where it's like again, this movie didn't know what its best parts were,
True.
unfortunately. And it was like yeah, I don't know.
It looked like the I'm nerd reference here incoming. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm about to talk about. The fucking Pokemon graph for stats on every Pokemon game where you can see attack, defense in a circle. And then the thing in between like stretches towards the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that where like there's like a million points, but there's only 3 arms. Like one goes towards comedy, but it's at like 50 out of, or it's like 80 out of 100. And then the seriousness is like a 40 out of 100, but they're all in opposite directions. And it just doesn't like, there's no coexistence. There's no glue. It's just,
it's
they
like
kept switching.
They put all their skill points into like other things, but then decided to like play it. They put all their skill points into like two-handed weapons, but then they did like an unarmed playthrough. You know, it's like kind of like that. It was just like they didn't know what.
They literally booted up Skyrim, grinded smithing and alchemy, and then all they did was sneak archer the whole time. Like fucking cringe. Who does that?
Yeah, what?
That was an
Who does
interesting
that?
analogy. I gotta say, Dustin.
All right, look, man. I'm on a side note. I'm heartbroken. I accidentally deleted my Skyrim and it's saved the other day.
Why would you do that? How did you do that?
Let me tell you. And let me tell you, now I know how people do it by accident. Because that's my question when I hear that story. It's like, how the fuck do you accidentally just delete something? Let me fucking tell you how. Xbox's dumbass fucking UI doesn't make any goddamn fucking sense. I go on the fucking, so if you're on the fucking settings page and you scroll and you go to games, you have all the tiles of all your games. You know, fucking Halo, GTA, whatever the fuck, right?
You know, we're getting a little sidetracked here.
We're getting a little off
No,
topic
no.
here.
You're gonna listen. All right, I'm pissed.
Make it quick though. We're supposed to be talking about from
listen,
Paris.
and you press start on and you bring up a menu, right? The start button gives you the options for the panel that you're hovered over. Well, if you're not in the settings, everywhere else in the UI, if you press start, there's a quit button at the bottom of that. So if the game is still running in the background, if you're whatever, you just click start, quit. That's it. But no. This dumb whoever the fuck made this, I swear to God, you go on the fucking settings page and the same UI, you click start, but the only difference, the one difference is instead of quit, it's uninstall. And there's no, are you sure you want to uninstall? It just fucking disappears. So I just went to go quit the game because it was running in the background. And I fucking uninstalled it. What? Like
strange.
if Paris with Love tried to do that, like they would like I don't even know.
I don't know if anyone caught that, but when I just talked about like we're going up track, I just called the movie From Love. Like it's the movie is
From Paris
with Love. I just said From Love with Paris. I don't know if anyone.
From Love with Paris.
I looked that up on YouTube earlier. I was like, what the fuck is the fucking? I was like, From Love. I was looking up the funny scenes and I put From Love, and then it auto-filled the From Love with Paris. So it is apparently a common trend because it auto-filled. It came up in the search.
That's
bar.
good to know. All right, should we I don't know. Wrap this up. Just about.
This is basically the end of the movie.
Yeah.
She is like about to. I mean, she's like crying. You know, she's like, I can't believe I didn't. Why did I choose being a terrorist?
What a fucking bimbo.
And then he shoots her before she can activate the bombs, and
yeah, which I thought was really easy to see coming because it's like they're just like it's over for her anyway, so she's just gonna like no, exactly. I'm gonna be a terrorist instead. Forget love.
It really needed to like have more of, I don't know, like maybe like have her somehow get like roped into all of their spy shit. You know what I mean? Or like have her like be taken hostage by the terrorists, but then like, oh, it turns out it was like she was a fake. You know, she was like playing with the terrorists or something like that. Not
been a better
totally.
Twist.
Yeah, it didn't like really work. So yeah, I don't know. After that, John Travolta and Reese like just play some
they're like buddy
play
now.
Some chess.
Like, we're best friends now, by the way. I think
their relationship, I liked their relationship, but I think it could have been developed more.
Yeah, it was just weird though, where it seemed like they were like best friends all of a sudden now. It seemed like Reese wasn't really like, he wasn't like not enjoying his time with John Travolta, but it just seemed like, oh, John Travolta's like way too chaotic for me. I can't deal with him.
Dude,
the
only thing missing was them at the end, like walking away from a fucking explosion together, not looking at it. Would have just topped off the corniness of that relationship at the end, 100%.
Yeah, or like walking off into the sunset, or like something really.
Yeah, we get a reference to like, oh, do I look like a guy who plays chess? Like, okay, we're gonna bring that little tiny reference we had
in the
beginning. The first beginning part of the movie.
Do I look like I play board games? Like that's all.
I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, do I look like somebody who plays board games?
I did laugh when he referred to like chess as like a board game. I don't know why that made me laugh. Because like board games are like so different now.
Yeah.
I don't even think of chess as like a board game.
I don't either. That's why it was funny too, because it's like, damn, that's supposed to be like an intellectual fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was it. Like that was what was funny about it. It was just like you're bringing chess down to like it being a board game.
It's literally side by side with checkers now. Like it's not any different.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like this movie didn't. It could have felt like a chess game. you know, in terms of the plot and like the CIA versus the terrorists or something, like, oh, they're playing chess against each other metaphorically or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that makes it feel like it's like a first draft, you
Yeah.
know, but directed fairly well with like some cool action scenes. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the movie, but Dustin, you picked the movie. Why don't you rate it first? I guess we'll just get into ratings
Yeah.
if that's cool with everyone.
I'm having trouble here
I am too.
because I'm stuck between a 0.5 up or down, but this is not going to be the last time I watch it because I watch it since I saw it years ago. I always watch it like a couple times a year. Like I'll be bored. I see I bought it and I'll be like, fuck it, and I'll play it, or I'll like be playing video games, which I don't do too often now. But now whenever I do, I have like a video on my phone playing in front of me, and like every once in a while I'll play that. Like I'll just be playing it in the background. So I like going back to it. I like John Travolta in it enough to watch the whole thing like again and again. And I think because of that only, I'm going to go higher with my 0.5. I'm going to give it a fuck. No, I can't do that because then there's other movies that I'm thinking about and I don't feel right doing that because then it compares weird to other shit. I give it a 3.5. A good one. Good 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with my rating too. I don't know, Will. What are you feeling? Do you have like a solid rating?
I'm struggling
that
a
you're
little bit
giving it?
just because I liked this more than John Carter, and I gave that a 2, I believe. So it's like,
Yeah.
is it like the same level as because I kind of want to give it a 2. It's like
Really? You
it's
didn't like it?
no, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just kind of an average movie to me. Like John Travolta is like the only thing that like saves it from being bad.
True.
But it's like I don't know if I want to like give it the same rating as John Carter. I probably now would give John Carter
Look,
like
I'm
one
not
and a
judging you.
half.
Look, I'm not judging you or telling you to go up or down. I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm just saying it is not on the level of John Carter.
I know that's
Like
what I'm saying. Like I don't want to like put it on the same rating. I liked it more than John Carter. This because John Travolta was like better than like anything in John Carter.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely.
So it's like,
True.
but like I feel like I just gotta like, change my initial rating for John Carter to like 1.5.
We're going back.
I'm
We're going back to John Carter, baby.
Because I feel like I don't know. It's like, should I do a 2.5? Because that's like average. But if you take John Travolta away, this movie is like not that good. But I don't know. Like John Travolta makes this beat. I don't know. Okay, I'm struggling
tough,
too.
right? I'm struggling too. I'm between a 2.5 and a 3 at this moment.
Okay, I'm like between a 2 and 2.5.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a 3
like,
for me.
because talking about it was like I'm remembering lots of like really funny shit. Like again, him
Just a bunch of
sliding down
Asian
the pole
dudes.
upside down. Funny like shit, like, you know, throwing the bomb onto the car.
I could see myself looking up some of the John Travolta scenes like on YouTube every now and then, because like those scenes were pretty fun. You know what? I'll just give it 2.5. I'm gonna give it 2.5. That's my rating. So
okay,
Julian gets
so
to figure out his now.
So we've got 3.5 and a 2.5, and it comes down to me. Man, it's tough. I think
Just go with your gut. Go with your gut feeling.
My gut feeling when I initially watched it was 3, but thinking about it a bit more, I do kind of like think that it took too many missteps. Like again, the not developing relationships enough, not like leaning into the comedy more, and kind of like having a sloppy plot, I think I'll give it a 2.5. But it's like a
2.5,
pretty
dang.
high 2.5.
Yeah, it's like almost gets a 3. I think if like what Julian said, if it didn't have those mishaps, it would be like a solid 3.
Yeah, and I gave the Suicide Squad a 3, and I don't think this movie is as good as the Suicide Squad. Like I'd probably
Yeah, I
watch
like
the Suicide Squad
more.
again. Yeah.
Well, you Justin, like between this and the Suicide Squad, what would you go with? I forget. What did you give the Suicide Squad? Do you remember?
I think he gave it 4.
4, I think. Maybe.
Okay, so you
like
the Suicide Squad more.
I don't remember.
It's different if I'm just talking about, if I'm comparing two movies rather than just voting for one, like in this type of discussion, I think Suicide Squad was a better film. But personally, I just have more enjoyment from Paris with Love, and that's just from Love with Paris. And then
that just rolls off the tongue better. I'm sorry,
but it's kind of like King Shark in Suicide Squad did to that with what John Travolta did with this for me. So it's kind of like I think overall the Suicide Squad is a better film, but I think personally I just like the humor and shit of. I can rewatch this one more. So I guess you could say I like this one more if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, Dustin, you gave it a 3. You gave Suicide Squad a 3.5.
Okay, then yeah, it makes sense what I'm saying. It's hard to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's like if it had more, I don't know, just like tighten that, rewrite that draft, and then have a stronger script, and this movie would have been like really solid. Like I really did enjoy a lot of scenes, like a lot, and I was laughing pretty hard at times. But the beginning and ending are like, this is like a weird movie where like the middle chunk was like the best part. That's like usually not the case for me. Usually I like remember the beginning and the ending pretty well, and then the middle part is like the iffy part. This was like a solid like second act movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a 2.5 from Will and I, and a 3.5 from you. So that's altogether that's an 8.5 out of 15, which would be, just gonna average it. Wait, I'm dumb. I'm doing the math wrong. So that's a 2.8 out of 5. It's a little lower than I would like.
I think that's too low.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I think it's too low.
Yeah.
I think
that's like an average rating, which I think is fair.
Yeah.
Never mind. I make my shit a 5 just to make the average go up.
I'm still the highest rated movie. Let's go, Rocky.
Yeah. I think Dustin, you haven't given a 5 to anything. We both gave a 5 to Rocky.
I bet you the second time Dustin watches Rocky, it's getting a 5 from me. I guarantee it.
There are a few movies outside of the military genre that I would give a 5 to.
That makes sense given your background.
Yeah,
I can see.
And it's just there's I shouldn't say few, like a few of the bigger titles you can imagine, like Shawshank, I'd give a 5 because I just think that's fucking great. So like when it comes to movies like that, like the obvious ones, I'm not including those. So not including those, there's only a few outside of the military ones that I'd give a 5. There might be some that I would rethink if I watched it again. When it comes to like you guys choosing something that I might already see, I think in a discussion setting like this, really thinking about it more, I could probably give a 5 to some things, but again, it just depends what we're watching, which is also why it's kind of, I look forward to the shit you guys choose. Cause if I have seen it or I haven't seen it, it's kind of like exciting for me either way. Even if I don't like it, I guess. Yeah. Cause like John Carter was exciting and that fucking blue fucking brown asshole.
That's like gonna be the worst movie for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had Willem Dafoe in it. How did it mess up? It had Willem Dafoe. What went wrong, movie?
Yeah, it had Taylor Kitsch. How could it go?
And Bryan Cranston. who also once again dies way too soon. Why?
Yeah. Anyway, we gotta stop. We
Okay,
gotta find a movie that
it's-
we reference more
Okay,
than John Carter.
it's Julian's turn, and I'm curious.
Okay, I want to see if you guys can guess what I'm gonna pick.
I have no
I
idea.
know you said last time it was
it's
something
leaving
that's
HBO.
it's leaving, but
Right.
I didn't look, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, it's been staring at you in the face the whole time.
What?
Oh,
The
Oh!
Evil
the
Dead.
Evil the wait, the
Right.
Evil Dead or just Evil
The
Dead?
Evil Dead.
So
Okay, that's
because-
the remake one, right?
No,
Yeah,
that's the
which one?
original.
Oh, okay, the original.
The original?
The original, Sam Raimi's first movie.
Okay, I've
I mean,
seen
he
that.
probably made like some student movie or some shit, but
Oh
his
yeah.
first like big movie, one of my favorite franchises. I wanted to go with 2, but I felt like I'll
That's the
probably do
safer
2
choice.
at some point later on anyway. So like, why not do the first one? Because
Okay.
we've got a new Evil Dead movie coming out this year. It's going to HBO Max, and then we've got a new Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is coming back to directing after
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
like 9 years. Like
Woohoo!
was the last time he made a theatrical film.
Damn.
And yeah, this is where it all started. Is the Evil Dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say last week, I didn't know that was the one of the ones leaving, but when you said it was leaving and you were like, "Oh yeah, we gotta watch," I was gonna say Evil Dead. That's the first thing came to mind because I know how much you like that series. I was literally gonna say it, and the only reason I didn't was because I didn't want you to confirm it if I got it right. I didn't know what you were gonna respond with, so I was like, I don't want to fucking say anything, like just in case, you know. Like I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, the Evil Dead. It's leaving HBO Max this month. So yeah, check that out. Remember, it's the original film from 1981. And I will say, I checked it out on HBO Max, and it's a different aspect ratio. The film was originally in like a 4:3 aspect ratio, I believe. But they, for like DVDs and stuff, they like cut out parts of the frame and like changed it to widescreen. So if you can watch this movie with the full frame in 4:3, but I don't think the widescreen is like awful. Like it's the first time I saw it, so I don't think it's like totally. I don't know. I'm usually pretty like picky on that kind of stuff, but hey, if I saw it the first time in that format and I loved it, like I think anyone could. But yeah, that's my pick for next time. I guess that's it. That's it for this time on the Movie Night Society. So yeah, join us next time with The Evil Dead, and we'll see you later.
See ya, everyone.
Bye.